Yes. Welcome participants to this webcast uh, by Group on Development of Rural Economy on a very important topic, that is infrastructure as a catalyst for rural transformation. Although many webcasts in the recent past we had done on different aspects of rural economy, we have been joined by the speaker, Dr. Manu Bansal, and our convener of the group, CA Pankaj Sir. So I'll ask Sir Pankaj Sir to kindly share his opening thoughts.
Thank you, Nikhil ji. It is indeed a pleasure that our Group on Development of Rural Economy has organized this webinar on infrastructure as a catalyst for rural transformation. And we have a very elite professor, Dr. Manu Bansal, who is assistant professor in economics and business environment at IIM Jammu. He's also a doctorate in economics and social sciences from IIM Bangalore. So it is a great pleasure that experts like him would be sharing on infrastructure requirements and how infrastructure can act as a catalyzer for rural transformation. Rural transformation, sustainable rural infrastructure, these are very important for development of any rural economy and economy perspective. So we are found to just listen to the expert on this topic. So welcome, Dr. Manu Bansal, and welcome to all the members in this webinar.
Thank you,
Over
sir.
to Nikhil. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So over to Dr. Manu for taking this session forward.
Okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. And I thank you all
Actually,
for
sir, in
inviting
Jammu, there
me
is
for this session.
due to floods, there are some issues, but and now the internet has been restored, so uh,
Yeah.
we hope that everything will
Okay.
be fine. Yes.
Yeah. So yes, there have been floods in last 2 days. Not last 2 days. The day till day before yesterday, there were water problems, electricity problems, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we have seen it all in last 4 5 months, from bomb attacks, from drone attacks, from bombings to this as well. Okay, so yeah, but it's great to be here, and it is such a nice initiative from GDRE ICI to do these talks, to organize these talks, and I hope to contribute well. So I'll start by sharing this presentation, a short presentation that I have made. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
Uh,
yes, the title is Infrastructure as a Catalyst for Rural Transformation. I like to keep this presentation interactive, not the presentation, say the webinar interactive. So the learning will be more if we keep on interacting. Can I see the other participants as well?
Actually, you are joining on Zoom, and they are on a registration link. They are different link.
Okay, so I'll
Not.
not be able to hear them
Uh, uh,
if they want to speak.
we are having the questions that they will be asking, and we will be interacting with you. The questions they'll be sharing in
Okay,
the chat box.
okay, so that let's keep it interactive,
Yeah.
right? Okay, right. Yeah, so this is a contrasting image of two kinds of villages. On the left, we have an image where roads are not present, even though electrical poles are there, but there may not be any electricity. Plus, there may not be any other highways, energy source. Nothing is there on the left hand side. If we see the left of picture, the infrastructure is missing. On the right side, we see communication towers, we see solar energy, we see highways, we see roads. Okay, so can anyone tell me? So that's how I want to keep it interactive. That can anyone tell me the difference between the living standards of a villager on the left hand side and of a villager on the right hand side? So I'd like to know your thoughts on that.
Basically, it's a transformations sort of thing, because on the left side, people are not having all the basically necessity right now we can say not luxury, but definitely all the necessities which is important for survival is not there. On the right side, yes, right from solar panel to highways and good roads, transportation system. So every thing is there. So that's basically the transformation that we are seeing that.
Yeah, but how will it impact their life? Like say I'm a farmer.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I am living in a village on the left hand side, how will be my life? And if I am living on the right hand side, how different my life will be as a farmer? Just from the economic perspective, let us think about the economic perspective. What will be the difference in my life on the left hand side and on the right hand side?
One thing that accessibility to the market will be more
Yeah.
on the right hand side,
Mhm.
because ultimately, if you're producing something and that is not been you are consuming at your village only, so definitely the whole the concept of profit that basically you won't be getting that. So it is better that you have a better connectivity interactions with. Basically the buyers
Yeah.
who can have your product, or you have the basically what we can say that they can market the product. So the farmers in the left hand side will be getting better pricing, and definitely their quality of life will be increased.
So it's as easy as it can get. I hope all of you are aware of the demand and supply curves. Are you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yes, that much I can take, right? Okay, and the transportation cost is one of the cost of production, right? Okay, so
Sure.
if the cost of production increases, what happens to the supply? Like if some of your participants or some of the people who are watching the webinar, if they can answer that, then it will be great.
Professor Bansal, one thing that first you deliberate on this whole exercise, then the questions
Okay.
will be adding, because frequently the dialogue
Okay.
will be difficult.
Okay. Okay. So okay, I'll go ahead then. Okay. So when the transportation cost increases, it shifts the supply curve to the left, which means that the supply decreases and the prices of the product increase. Also, the production decreases. Okay. So the one thing that we have seen in the past, we have seen in historically has been the benefit of an increase in price does not go to the farmer. Okay, and one of the reasons for that is high transportation cost. Okay, which is borne by the farmer itself. Right. One is that problem. The second problem is the information gap. Okay, which we can solve through the telecommunication infrastructure. Okay, so we'll circle around these points once again. So let us move forward. What is rural infrastructure? So what I have done, I have divided it into three parts: physical, social, and institutional. In physical infrastructure, we have the transport infrastructure. So transport infrastructure can include road infrastructure. Besides that, there can be railway infrastructure as well. Okay, so roads will include everything: rural roads, highways, the state highways, national highways, bridges. Everything can be included in the rural transport. Okay, then comes energy and power. We have talked a lot about rural electrification. Okay, so most of the villages are electrified in India. Okay, so we have achieved 100% electrification, but as far as the power outage is concerned, the numbers still look very gloomy. Okay. Then comes the irrigation infrastructure, which is very important for agriculture, for the rural areas. Okay. So in irrigation infrastructure, there can be dams, there can be wells, there can be tube wells. Okay. So all these things will come into the irrigation infrastructure. Then we have the agricultural infrastructure. The agricultural infrastructure that we are talking about here is like warehouses. Okay, so warehousing is or the storage places. They are one of the most important things in rural infrastructure. Okay, so this is not the first thing which comes at the top of our mind when we talk about rural infrastructure. Warehouses are not the first thing that come to our mind, but they are extremely, extremely important, and we'll discuss why they are important. Okay, and in physical infrastructure, last but not the least, we need communication infrastructure. Okay, so even now it has been seen that internet is considered a basic necessity now. Okay, so communication infrastructure has become extremely important in the rural areas, be it for farming, be it for reducing the information gap, be it for helping the farmers improve their agricultural techniques. In communication has become extremely, extremely important. Okay. Then we come to the social infrastructure. Social infrastructure, we can have education, which will include schools and colleges, and even agricultural universities. Okay, we have a rich history of having agriculture universities, but there's still a gap between what students learn in agricultural universities and what is implemented on the farm by the farmer, by the agriculturalist. Second comes the healthcare. Okay, we do have primary health centers in the villages, but again, many of you must have watched the series Gram Chikitsalaya. Okay, so it's particularly it shows us, it throws light on how gloomy the things are when we talk about health in a village setting, health in a rural setting. The third thing, drinking water and sanitation. So this government since 2014, even before that as well, has focused on building toilets, bringing in sanitation, uh, bringing in schemes like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan for improving the drinking water and sanitation. But we are still not sure whether we have been able to achieve the target that we wanted to achieve. How many villages are open defecation free? We still don't know. Okay. Then comes housing. You must have heard about Pakka Ghar and Kacha Ghar. Okay. Right. So even in villages, even the photo that I showed here on the left hand side, there are Kacha houses which are made of mud. And on the right hand side, we see a Pakka house which is made of bricks. Okay. So a Pakka house is more resilient to weather conditions, and Kacha houses it needs regular maintenance. Okay. So building that kind of a housing in rural areas is also very important. Then we come to the institutional and community infrastructure. Okay. Again, it may not this kind of infrastructure may not come at the top of our mind, but it is also important in the rural setting. Okay. So first comes the panchayat office. Okay. And again, I'll go back to the web series that many of us must have watched, Panchayat. So we know how important a panchayat office is. Okay. All the important meetings take place at the panchayat office. Many of the important decisions are taken there. Okay. And in some panchayats, it is only like one way for the villagers to get an access to a computer. Okay. Many panchayats are the only place where computer is available in the whole village. So it becomes very important. Second thing, banks and financial services. We have been talking about financial inclusion for a long time. Okay. And yes, we have improved on the financial inclusion index as well in the world. Okay. But has it made rural areas more lucrative for the commercial banks as well? Have the commercial banks reached the villages to give loans, to participate in the development of the rural economy? That we still have to see. Okay, we are still not sure. Okay, we'll see in this presentation. We'll take a look on that as well. Then last one, the small scale industries. Okay, these are the small scale industries. This is say a rice mill, a small rice mill, or a brick kiln, which is opened by a villager. Okay, so these small scale industries, they also contribute a lot, not only to the rural GDP, but even to the national GDP. Okay. So these small scale industries are very important. So these may be an offshoot to agriculture, but they may be an entirely different and entirely alternate livelihood to agriculture for the farmer. Okay. Right. Okay. So I pose this question: is infrastructure just expenditure, or is it investment with compounding return? Okay. So at present, I am talking about the public infrastructure, which is made by the government, on which government is spending the money. Okay. Now government has to spend the money. Okay. Government has to show the expenditure. So they spend the money on the rural infrastructure, building roads, building solar energy for the villages, building schools, building primary health centers, okay, building warehouses for the farmers. Okay, so a lot of things are done by the government, but is the government only doing it for infrastructure, or will it will it benefit the economy as well? Okay, so the answer lies in first the economic multiplier effect. Okay, so so if the government wants to just invest in infrastructure, they can also build statues, right? So that is also building infrastructure. But will that infrastructure result in the economic multiplier effect? Will that result in giving jobs to the people? Will it improve market access for the villagers, for the farmers? Will it bring the cost of procurement of inputs down for the farmer? Okay, it may not. Okay. But when we talk about the public infrastructure like roads, like electricity, like then we can say that we can even see that all this public infrastructure creates jobs. All this public infrastructure creates jobs, it creates market access, it increases the productivity of agriculture itself. It increases the productivity of a rural economy. Okay. Right. So because more money exchanges hand, as money exchanges more number of hands, it adds more to the GDP. Okay. It is called the GDP multiplier. Okay. So the cost of production decreases for the farmer. As the cost of production decreases for the farmer will be able to increase its supply, and hence the prices of agriculture may also come down. We have been facing food inflation for a long time now, and monetary policy has failed in taming the food inflation. It may have decreased the retail inflation in the total retail inflation, but we have not been able to control for the food inflation. Okay, right? So if we are able to remove these kind of supply chain bottlenecks, which is transportation itself, as basic as transportation, we can reduce the supply side problems, and we can reduce the cost and increase the productivity of agriculture.
Now,
Second one, the social impact. Yes, sir.
yeah, one thing, the share of agriculture in the GDP is coming down. If you see the trend for the last 75, 77 years,
Yes.
it is coming down. Now, in investing in rural infrastructure, can it be a catalyst for contribution of agriculture more in the GDP, or it as the progresses, the economy progresses, investment in the service sector, other manufacturing sector is better than the agriculture sector?
Okay, so even if so again, this is rural infrastructure. This will not only impact agriculture, but the other sectors as well, like manufacturing as well. Okay, we can see migration, like more migration can take place. People can easily move from rural to urban areas and urban to rural areas. Actually, I have a research paper which shows that because of the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, because of the roads built under the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, people are moving back from the urban areas to rural areas. Okay, so it may not only be for agriculture. Okay, it may be for other activities as well.
Okay. So
Yes.
in the long term or in the short run also, investing in the rural infrastructure is definitely going to help people a lot.
Yes, so it is again not an issue of either and or. Okay,
Yeah.
so agriculture can improve, can progress, even if manufacturing as well as service sector are going ahead at a much faster pace. Okay?
Fine.
Maybe agriculture cannot match the same growth rate as these sectors, but still in absolute numbers, in absolute terms, agriculture can prosper. Okay, even if we see from since 2003, we have had a positive, we have had a trade surplus in agriculture sector. So we are exporting more than what we are importing in agriculture sector since 2003. Well, so there it is actually the only sector, maybe service sector is another one, but agriculture sector has shown a trade surplus. It is one of the one of the shining light in our trade. Okay, so yes, even if the share of agriculture has fallen in GDP, India is still considered an agrarian economy.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So even if we stop being an agrarian economy, even if we become a manufacturing economy, still agriculture will remain very important for India.
Fine.
That is not going to change. So investment in agriculture will never go to waste.
Fine.
So I'll move to the social impact. Most of the time we only talk about the economic impact, but we should also talk about the social impact. So public infrastructure can lead to better healthcare and education as well. You can build schools, but every village cannot have a school. Every village cannot have a hospital. Okay. There's another paper by author Shilpa Agarwal who has studied the impact of rural roads on healthcare outcomes. So she does a research. She studies and observes that the villages which are connected by the rural roads, the health has improved at those places. Now more people, more number of students are going to the schools from those places. So the dropout rate has come down from those from those villages. Okay, so these are the small things which have been contributed by the rural roads itself. Okay. Second thing, the migration patterns. I have already discussed about the migration patterns, where my own paper has studied that rural roads have led to urban to rural migration. So it is reverse migration that we are seeing. Okay. So what must have led to it? Okay, maybe now people are understanding that their rural life has improved, the conditions in the rural areas have improved, and that is why they are moving from urban to rural areas, and that has happened because of the roads. Okay. Even rural to rural migration has increased. Okay. People are moving towards those villages which have roads. Okay. As compared, so the people who were in the villages which didn't have roads, they are moving to those villages which have roads. Okay. Third thing, the financial inclusion. Okay. So I will not say that gone are the days when people used to take a whole day to do a bank work. It is still happening. Okay. A farmer has to take a holiday from agriculture to go to the city and do anything related to the bank, be it a loan, be it opening a bank account, be it anything, be it even having a print on the passbook. Okay. The farmer have to go to a city. But at least the roads are now helping the farmer reach the city faster. Okay. And on the contrary, if we talk about the digital infrastructure, that has led the farmer to do all the banking on the phone itself. Okay. If there's no need for going to the city for banking solutions, then it is one of the best things for the rural areas. In urban areas, we may not appreciate it as much as a villager. Okay, because if a villager has internet, has a smartphone, and can see his account, their account balance on the phone itself, do transactions from the phone itself, get the money on the phone itself through UPI, then it is nothing better than that for a farmer. Okay. Okay. Any other question till now from the participant? No, if they, yes,
One question from the
Hmm.
participant you is,
yes,
do you view infrastructure primarily as a cost or as a long-term investment with compounding returns?
yeah. Actually, this is the same thing. This is the same question that I have put here.
Yeah,
This is the same question that I have put here. Yes, I consider it to be an investment.
yeah.
Yeah, so we should not consider it just as an expenditure, but it is an investment that the government is doing. Okay, so it will give good returns in agriculture, but the government also need to also need to do more research about which kind of infrastructure is now required in the rural area, because we have 100% electrification. Yes, we have almost covered all the villages with rural roads. Okay, so now the government needs to think about which infrastructure to focus next. Okay,
Okay.
maybe it can be the digital infrastructure. Okay,
There's
maybe.
another question from a
Hmm.
participant that if you are advising policymakers, where
Hmm.
would you prioritize infrastructure investment in rural areas and why?
Yeah, I'll do it in communication because still there's some gap there. Not everyone in rural areas is using a mobile phone. Yes. So there's something called the agriculture extension services, where a farmer can give a call to a service center. Like it's not a service center, but it is a it is a help center for the farmers where they can take advice. There's something called KVKs, Krishi Vigyan Kendra. So sometimes these help desks are available in Krishi Vigyan Kendra. We also need to connect our farmers to the agriculture universities as well. Okay? That will again be very important. So I think we are still lacking in communication infrastructure. If we compare the tele-density of urban areas versus the rural areas, we'll see that still there is a lot of gap between the two.
Yes.
Right.
But definitely flow of information has definitely increased a lot. Even that has gone to the rural areas, even the remotest areas. Because
Yes.
what had happened in the last 20 years is completely a revolution sort of thing. Because definitely information has percolated to the remotest places.
Exactly. It has, and it has helped the farmers as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Recently, we are having a webcast where Namo Drone, Namo Didi, that scheme that has been started by the government, that is having also a wide impact in the rural areas. So, due to information awareness, only people are having knowledge of all these things, and definitely it will be advantageous to the farmers also, and definitely it will be reducing the cost of the agriculture also.
yeah, it will. Yes, exactly. But so see, yes, connectivity has come as far as mobiles are concerned, right? But again, if we talk about see educating students through a mobile phone, okay, yes, it is happening. It has started happening, okay, but it is still not reaching everyone. That's a big that can be a big revolution which can come. So there is actually a company called ThinkZone which works in Odisha.
Okay.
So during COVID-19, when the students could not come to the classes, so they made a mobile app. They even the people who didn't have smartphones, okay, they worked something up to teach those students as well through mobile phone. Okay, so if you want to look up, you can search about ThinkZone. Okay,
Right.
after the session, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question?
No, it's till now this.
Okay. Okay. So I'll move forward.
Yeah.
Okay. So why is rural infrastructure important? Yes, we have talked a lot about it actually already. So yes, it is important for the farmers. But why is it important for the urban economy? We have said that okay, like for the farmers will benefit if rural infrastructure improves. The students in the rural areas will benefit. Health will improve. Health outcomes will improve. Educational outcomes will improve. Farmers will get better access to the market. Now, how does the rural economy benefit from the rural infrastructure? Sorry, how does the urban economy benefit from the rural infrastructure? Okay. So at last, finally, we are working to have food. Okay. So if the cost of producing food decreases, the prices of food will also come down. We will become self. We are self-sustainable. We are sustaining our agriculture, but again, most of the agriculture that we do is focused towards grains, is focused towards carbohydrates. There's something called protein revolution, which is underway by the government. But to get this protein revolution flying, we need rural infrastructure, and even the urban economy will benefit from it. If people living in urban areas will benefit from it, they will get cheaper food. As simple as that. Okay. So what about the chartered accountant? How can the chartered accountant benefit from rural infrastructure? So, like, I like to hear from some of the chartered accountants sitting there because see, I am not a chartered accountant.
From your perspective, basically this is a new area. So
Yeah.
definitely from as a academician perspective or who is expert in rural economy, basically you have done your post graduation, I
Yes,
think
yes.
from XIBM Bhubaneswar.
XIMB, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
From your perspective, what do you think that what are the opportunities for the chartered accountants in the areas? Although chartered accountant had diversified into all
Yes,
areas, but
yeah,
from your perspective, what are the important opportunities so they can think from that angle also?
yeah, yeah. Like one of the important thing is compliance itself. Okay, so so government is spending so much money. Okay, so for each road that they build, there are two types of completion that they mention on their website. I'm talking about PMGSY, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. So they have data for each kind of road. And for completion of each kind of road, they have two dates for completion. One is physical completion, the second one is financial completion. Okay. And the financial completion cannot happen without the help of a CA. Okay. Until and unless a CA clears the accounts, even the government will not be able to reach or to complete the road itself. Okay. So first one is compliance because a lot of money is involved in it. Okay. Second is the rural industry itself. Okay. If the rural industry grows, if say there are more cooperatives, the biggest cooperative that we have in India is Amul. Okay. So as more number of cooperatives come into being, now we have a university as well, which is a cooperative, IRMA. IRMA has become a university, Tribhuvan Sahakari University, TSU. Okay. So as more cooperatives come into being, as more small scale industries come into being, more MSMEs are formed, we will need more services of chartered accountants. Okay. Now, even not only that, many of the companies are including rural infrastructure in their CSR. Okay. So to take into account to see all the regulations, whether they are meeting all the CSR regulations, CAs are needed. Okay. So to my limited knowledge, we need CAs everywhere.
Sure, sure.
Okay. Yeah, be it science, be it technology, be it space, okay, be it farming, be it management. We need them everywhere. Like even IIM Jammu has CAs. Some of our students are CAs. Some of our MBA students are CAs. Okay.
Yes.
Even like our finance accounts officer is a CA. Okay, so we need you everywhere. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll move forward. Okay, so this is the number of roads or the length of roads which is sanctioned under the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Okay, so this is the primary area of my research. I have already published 2 papers with the help of PMGSY, and I'm writing a third paper on PMGSY. So as we can see here, more than 8 lakh kilometer of roads have been sanctioned under the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. The government has spent more than $40 billion on PMGSY. Yeah. That's how large the extent of PMGSY is. It is the longest running infrastructure project in India, which is running since 2000 to 2025. It is running at present as well. Okay, so this is one of the most important rural projects that we have seen. And in research, we have seen that because of PMGSY, the poverty has come down because of PMGSY. Now the farmers are using more number of tractors, or more number of farmers are using tractors. We have seen more mechanized farming, okay, less of manual farming. We have seen better access to the market for the farmers. Not only that, we have seen that now the farmers can procure their input at a lower cost as well. Okay. Over and above that, even one of my research, it says that it studies the impact of PMGSY on agricultural exports. Okay. So we have seen that PMGSY has also contributed to agricultural exports. Okay. So that was the missing link between the farms and the global markets, the rural roads, okay, the access to the market. So PMGSY has provided that. So as the number of roads or as the villages which are connected to the market increased, their agricultural exports also increased. Okay? So that's how important PMGSY is. Plus PMGSY has also contributed to health and education. Okay. So yeah, moving forward. Yeah, this is about rural, this is about internet users. We see that actually rural India has more number of internet users than the urban internet users. This is from a Times of India article of 28 February 2024, that is like last year. Okay. But rural India, the number of internet users in rural India is more than that of urban areas. Okay. So in 1 year itself, from 2023 to 2024, the number of rural internet users grew by 78%. Okay. So yeah, this is a good sign. Right. Now we come to the rural electrification. This has been glorified enough that we have electrified 100% of the villages around the nation, right? But what we never talk about is a power outage. Okay, so this is a survey done over 25,000 households from 272 districts of India. Okay, of which 67% were men and 33% were women. Okay, so what they have seen, that this is the first question that was asked: on average, how many times does power go off at your home each day? So 63% of the respondents said that 1 to 2 times. Okay, right? 22% said 3 to 5 times. Okay, right? And some people, like 9%, didn't know that they have a 24/7 power backup. Okay, because they didn't know whether the power has gone out. Okay, because they had a power backup. Okay, so this is the situation. Around 90% of the people say that they have a power outage every day. Okay, more than once in a day. Okay, and the second question which was asked was, on average, how many hours of power outage are you experiencing each day at your home? Okay, so 57% said up to 2 hours and 31% said 2 to 4 hours. Okay, so in around 50%, around 40% of the houses, in around 40% of the houses, we have a power outage of more than 2 hours. Okay, which is where we have where we should ponder. Okay, so these are not very good signs. Even we have electrified the villages, electricity is still not present. Okay, right? Okay, so this is again, this is warehousing capacities. Okay, so why are we saying that warehousing is important? I had told this before, that warehousing is a very important infrastructure in rural areas, but not enough news comes out about warehousing infrastructure. Okay, but why is warehousing infrastructure important? One is, during the harvest, when there is a harvest, there is a lot of supply of agricultural products. Okay, and when the supply increases, the prices come down immediately. Okay, and when there is an off season, let's say 6 months have passed after the harvest, then the prices increase. That we have again seen in commodities like tomato and onions. During the harvest, the prices are very low, and during the off season, the prices are very high because the supply is less. This is happening because of our terrible warehousing infrastructure. Okay, so what happens? So whenever there is a harvest, what if a farmer is able to store the produce in a warehouse and keep it for 6 months? Okay, not only it will improve the price that the farmer will get, but it will help the consumer as well. Okay, because during the off season, now the prices will come down because supply is more because of the warehousing infrastructure. Okay, right? So warehousing infrastructure is very important. So what are we doing? We are smoothing the supply. We are keeping the supply almost the same even during the harvest season and the off season as well. Okay, so this helps the consumer as well as the farmer. So farmer gets a better price for the produce. Okay, and the consumer also gets a better price. The consumer gets almost a constant price for the whole year. Okay, so that is why warehousing capacity is very important. But what we see in our country is that most of the warehouses have a capacity of less than 5,000 tons. Okay, and even the ones which have 5,000 tons of capacity, up to 5,000 tons of capacity, most are the ones which have up to like 1,000 tons of capacity. Okay, so the large warehouses are very less in India. We only have small warehouses. This is not this is not allowing us to reach the economies of scale. I hope everyone is aware of the concept of the economies of scale. Right? So as our production increases, our per unit cost of production decreases. Okay. So this small warehousing capacity is not allowing us to reach the economies of scale. Okay, and that's where private players can also come in. Okay, for building the warehousing capacity. Okay, so I think Adani Industries is building steel silos for storing like lakhs of tons of wheat at the same place in only one silo. Okay, like plus there are other interventions as well which are happening in warehousing, the small interventions. I'll discuss about the innovation in warehousing. Okay, so this is the geographical distribution of warehousing capacity in India. This is the storage capacity in metric ton. Okay, so if we see some of the northern parts like Punjab and Haryana have high capacity of warehouses. Okay, and then we come to the southern part. We again see, or Gujarat, one is Gujarat, where we have high capacity warehouses. And in Madhya Pradesh, we have high capacity of storage. And in Maharashtra, and this is Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Karnataka. But as we move to the east, in eastern part, the capacity is very less. Okay, so a lot of improvement is required on the eastern part. So this is regarding the district. This is according to the district. Okay, so yeah, situation is not very rosy in the eastern part where we have pathetic warehousing capacity. Okay, farmers suffer because of that. Okay, now we come to the financial inclusion index.
Is a
So
question regarding that digital part you have just discussed. Now, due
This
to
one,
the rise
yeah.
of digital infrastructure, how do you see that it is helping the rural communities both economically and socially?
Okay, okay. I'll give you a small example. There was a research in Kerala. This is an old research when mobile network was just coming into Kerala. Okay, so there are two beaches in Kerala. Okay, where fishes are sold. Okay, on one beach, what happens? On one day there are more number of buyers, and on the other beach the number of buyers are small. Okay, but the supply of fish is the same. Okay, so on one beach where the number of buyers are more, the prices will be high, but the supply will be less. On the other beach, same fish will sell at a lower price because the buyers are less on that beach. Okay, so now after the mobile network came into Kerala, it became a natural experiment for the researchers because they didn't invest in bringing the network; it automatically came. Okay, so now the fishermen on both the beaches were able to talk to each other. Okay, that we have more number of buyers, but we have less number of fish. So prices are high here, but now we have more number of buyers on this beach. So what you can do, instead of selling on beach number 2, you can come to beach number 1 and sell your produce here. Okay, so this was a small thing which phones did at that time. Okay, now when we talk about the digital infrastructure itself, it can help in banking. It can help in agricultural extension. Agricultural extension services are kind of a helpline for the farmer. If they want to take any advice from, say, the agriculture university about any crop that they want to sow, they can take the advice from them. Okay, or now the farmers can also get the information with on the prices of the commodities. Okay, so earlier what used to happen, suppose there is a wholesaler. The wholesaler used to before farmers started coming to the mandi to sell their produce. Not every farmer comes to the mandi for selling the produce. A lot of times it's the wholesaler who goes to the village and quotes a price there for a commodity. Okay, And because the farmer does not have the bargaining power, so they have to sell it to that wholesaler at that price itself. But now, because of the digital connectivity, the communication network which is going into rural areas, farmers can also know about the prices. Okay, right? CBOT is Chicago Board of Trade. Now they like farmers are so advanced. Not everyone, of course, but some farmers so advanced. They ask about the commodity prices on CBOT. Okay, so it is reducing the information gap everywhere. In the first instance, as well in Kerala, it reduced the information gap. Okay, on the second instance as well, when we are talking about prices, it is reducing the information gap again.
So in one way, it is basically helping them economically also, because if you are getting a
Yes.
better price, so definitely
Yes, exactly.
you'll be getting a higher profit also.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So what problem, like it has been a problem in agriculture that middleman takes the higher amount of profit. Okay. So this is not considered to be a very good name in agriculture. The Adhatia or the middlemen, they are considered to be the people who exploit. Okay. That may not be true, but they do used to take a lot of profit margin. Okay, so that profit now may be going to the farmer. Okay, not everywhere, but yes, it has started to happen. Or with more communication, with more digital infrastructure, the margin of profit for the farmers will increase. Right? Okay, and any other question? No?
That's fine. You can
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have talked about warehouse. Okay, now coming to financial inclusion. Yes, India has improved a lot on the financial inclusion index from 2017 to 2024. Earlier, the financial inclusion index was 43.4. Now it has improved to 64.2. Okay, so yes, financial inclusion has improved, but has the profitability of the banks improved as well in the rural area? Okay, right? Because until and unless a bank sees a profit in rural area, they will always be forced to go there. Okay, because of the priority sector norms that we have, the priority sector lending norms that we have, and the norms of giving 18% of your NDTL to the agriculture, these norms are there. Till that time, the credit given to the farmers or the agriculture sector will only remain at 18%, will not go beyond that, because the banks are not able to see the profit in the rural areas. Okay, so this is the outstanding advances of regional rural banks in India from financial year 19 to 2024. So what does this say about the health of credit that the banks are giving in the rural areas? The outstanding advances are increasing in agriculture. Most of them are in agriculture. Okay, even in MSMEs it is increasing. In education it is decreasing, the outstanding advances. Okay, the people are not able to pay back their loans. Okay, we can attribute 2020 and 2021 to COVID-19, but even during COVID-19 era, we saw that agriculture was the only sector which showed positive growth rate. Okay, so we saw that neither manufacturing nor services had the positive growth rate during COVID-19, but agriculture was the only saving grace. Okay, right? But even in these years, we have seen that the outstanding loans have increased. This can mean two things. One is that more banks are giving loans to the farmers. That is one possibility. Okay. The second possibility is that maybe farmers are not able to pay back the loan. Okay. If it is the first scenario, then it is good. That okay, like more number of banks are now giving, or banks are giving more loans to agriculture and MSMEs, then it is a positive picture. Okay. But what if the NPAs of the banks are increasing? Okay. So NPA has been a persisting problem in rural areas. Also, because of the size of the transaction, because of the size of the loan, it becomes costlier for the banks to follow up on an NPL or on a bad loan. Okay, that's why banks are happy giving loan to the corporate, giving like say 5,000 crore to the corporate, even if they afterwards run away to foreign countries. Okay, but the cost of following up in agriculture is a lot. Okay, so that is why we see that in microfinance institutions, in MFIs, the interest rates are still very high. Okay, interest rates are still around say 25, 26% in microfinance institution. Okay, right. On the other hand, we also have informal lending in villages, and you'll be amazed to know that the interest rate on informal lending in the villages is 10% per month. Okay, so that is the interest rate that you have to pay in an informal lending in the villages. It's that high. So MFI lending may look costly, but actually it is not. Okay, so 26% is a boon to the agriculture. The 26% interest rate that the MFIs are charging. Okay. So yes, I'll come to some of the examples where infrastructure has led to innovation, infrastructure has led to profit, infrastructure has led to welfare. Okay, one of the biggest example is Amul. Okay, so Amul is a cooperative which has huge cold storage infrastructure, because dairy is something where you need infrastructure. Okay, so if you go to Anand, if you get to visit Anand anytime, okay, go to their chocolate factory. Okay, they have a free visit to their chocolate factory. Go to their milk factory. Okay, you will see such an advanced, such advanced machinery there. Okay, and it is all run by the farmers. Okay, it is it is run by the farmer. It is a farmer cooperative. Okay, and if we see its value in crores, uh, in 2024, its value in crores was around 60,000 crores. Okay, right? So yes, rural infrastructure does help. Okay, this is a model for this is an innovation that is being done in warehousing. This is called Apna Godam. Okay, so what they do, they convert, like say there's an industry shed which is unused by a factory. So they will take that and convert it into a small warehouse. Okay, so then they will connect the farmer directly to the warehouse. Okay, and the commodities that are kept by farmer in the warehouse, they connect the warehouse directly to the buyer, whoever wants to buy those things. It can be a wholesaler as well. Okay, so a wholesaler can also buy from those small warehouses. So it reduces the cost for the farmer and it reduces the cost for the buyer as well. Okay, so all this bidding. So what happens whenever a farmer brings the produce to the warehouse, its inspection is done, its quantity is measured, and it is put, all these things, all these details are put on the website of Apna Godam. Okay, and there the bidding takes place, an auction takes place, and whoever bids the highest will be able to buy that thing. Okay, so they are connecting the farmer directly to the buyer. Okay, who want to buy in bulk, of course. Okay, but there is an auction mechanism in between which ensure that the farmer gets a good price. So it is actually the same thing which is happening in mandis as well, but you are limited to the bidders which are present in the mandi. The same thing happens in mandi, that a physical mandi which comes under APMC, that a farmer takes their produce to the mandi. Okay, then a saying happens. A saying is inspection. So nothing but inspection happens, and then it goes to the commission agent. The farmer has to give a good amount of commission, like 5 to 8% of commission to the commission agent, and then commission agent does the auctioning of that produce. Okay, so whoever is present in that mandi for auctioning, only those people will be able to bid for that produce. But that is not the case in Apna Godam. Okay, in Apna Godam, the auction takes place online, and the commission is also very less. Okay, so as the auction takes place online, more number of people, more number of buyers can bid for it. Okay, if you get more number of buyers, you'll get a better price. It is coming from auction theory, yeah, which is part of game theory. Yeah. Okay, so like even private players are doing a lot of innovation, right? So what can corporates do when it comes to public infrastructure? The first and foremost, which also has kind of become a necessity now, is CSR. Okay, so I'll just show you a link. Okay, just a second. I think it has stopped the sharing. I'll just share the whole screen. Yeah, okay. So yes. Okay. So yes, CSR plays a very important role in infrastructure, in rural infrastructure. ONGC, all I must about ONGC. ONGC is contributing a big part of their CSR in building the rural infrastructure. Okay, this is the smallest thing that private players can do. What about the profits then? Yes, can the private players earn profits through rural infrastructure? Okay, yes, they can. Okay, there's something called BOT model, the build, operate, transfer model. Right? What you do, you build a road, you take a toll tax on it, right? And once you have recovered your money or you have earned enough profit through the toll taxes, you transfer it to the government. Okay. So how can profits be earned in any other way? The PPP model, the public-private partnership model, that the government is even now going to try in railway. Okay. So in PPP model as well, private players can contribute to rural infrastructure. Okay. Right. And as we are talking about transforming rural economy, we can see that how solar energy is transforming rural economy, how solar infrastructure is transforming rural economy. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll share this. I've already shared the PPT with you, so you can share it with the participants as well if you like. This is an interesting case study where a complete solar energy model was developed for a village where the electricity was not present in a village. So solar panels were set up with the help of a CSR, and the ownership of those solar panels was transferred to the villagers itself. Okay, so now they are running this solar as these solar panels as a company. Okay, so they provide they take care of the maintenance. They do maintenance of the solar panels. They do maintenance of the electricity which is going to the village. Okay, they take care of the wires, and in return they take a per unit cost from the villagers itself. So it becomes a self-sustaining economy. Okay, right? Once you transfer the ownership to the villagers itself, right? So then they will take care of itself. Then they will run it as an industry. Okay, so they will have profits which will go back again to the maintenance of solar energy. Okay, to the solar panel or to increase the number of solar panels.
Because as many of the corporates, as part of CSR exercise, they are investing a lot in this solar energy initiative.
Yes.
Because ultimately the cost is not that high, and ultimately it provide electricity also, because again that is a game-changing thing for the villages where there is no electricity at all. So
Yes. Not only that, you must have heard about a company called Selco. So Selco is completely into solar energy and mostly into rural areas. And we have seen that recently an IPO also came, Vikram Solar. Okay, so that IPO has also got enough subscription. Okay, so like solar companies are doing very well in India. If anyone wants to invest in solar, this is the time. Okay, right. Moving ahead, what can a CA do? What is the role of chartered accountant in the rural infrastructure? Okay, so a CA can structure the PPP model, which is the public-private partnership model, and the build, operate, transfer model. Second, a CA can obviously ensure audit and transparency in rural infrastructure spending. So as we have discussed, like PMGSY itself, government has spent more than $40 billion on PMGSY, right? And that was like that number is like 6 years old. Now the government must have spent even more. Okay, so a CA can ensure transparency in the spending. Okay, consulting, CAs can provide consulting to the small and medium enterprises as well as the cooperatives for the finance access. Okay, and then finally driving the ESG linked rural infrastructure investment. Okay, ESG is a very big thing, the environment, the social, government link, which has become very important at present. Okay, not only in CSR but around the world. Okay, so the CAs can also drive ESG linked rural infrastructure, right? Okay, anything else that the CAs can, in a way that CAs can contribute to rural infrastructure, or there are opportunities for the CAs for this?
Basically, FAO, self-help group, there are different
Yeah.
groups that has been there itself, where
Hmm.
chartered accountant can definitely play
Yeah.
an important role, particularly
Federations.
educating them about the financial instrument that is there and how to operate that. Because ultimately, knowing about something and getting it operational required a lot of literacy, a lot of initiative, lot of hand holding, even a lot of mistakes also takes place. So
Right,
the chartered accountant can play an important role in correcting those mistakes and making rural people aware of all these initiatives, because ultimately literacy is not that prevalent in the rural areas compared to urban areas. So definitely they must be not aware of all these initiatives. Although the government is definitely focusing right now on the infrastructure and lot many rural initiative. The government is basically now taking care of, because that is why we are seeing that places which we had not heard of are in the limelight, because initiative had reached to that places. And definitely what you have told that about digital infrastructure and all other initiative that has taken place, definitely that has reached to that places and people are getting benefited from that. But again, there is regarding the NPO and NPA and other issues, that is again a sign that is not good. But ultimately, because if you don't earn, definitely you don't have the capacity to repay also.
right.
So that is why the money lenders are taking advantage of that. But
Exactly.
definitely, formal system has its own advantage rather than the informal one, because ultimately you can make rules, you can make you can inspect that, you can audit that, you can all the exercises that is there, you can do that. But in informal setting, all these exercises, it is difficult. So the checklist, which is important for the formal sector, cannot be applied in the informal settings. And although awareness about that, and we are seeing that a lot of initiative that is being taken by many of the corporates is now percolating to the rural areas. Even the corporates are now getting interested in basically investing in the rural areas. That is again a good sign as far
Yeah, exactly.
I,
Like
I
if we see the small finance banks, microfinance institutions like Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, they are doing a fantastic job in rural areas. Okay, we have also seen Bandhan Bank. You must have heard about Bandhan Bank. It was the last bank to get a commercial bank license. It used to be a microfinance institution. It used to work in rural areas. And once you have worked in rural areas, and then if you go and become a commercial bank, okay, then it becomes very easy for you to comply with all the regulations of RBI, which pertain to especially rural areas. Okay, then if you are able to generate profits in rural areas as a bank, you will be able to generate profits everywhere. Okay,
yes, yes,
so then you become resilient.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think RBI is providing commercial licenses to another MFI or a small finance bank. I forgot the name. But after I think 10 years, 12 years, RBI is giving a commercial license to a bank.
Even with Bird institution that is promoted by NABARD, uh,
Right, right, right.
we as a group is also as an institute is also entering into MOU with them, and definitely we'll be creating more and more awareness for FPOs and other
Right.
organizations who which are working in the rural setup, because that is why that is where we can create interest. That is our initiative. Even with IRMA also, we are in advanced stage of
Mhm.
having a collaboration with them. So
Yeah.
uh,
I
that
saw I saw that your first webinar was by Professor Hippu.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's a stalwart in rural
yes, yes.
management, I'll say.
Yeah, even that is why we are focusing. We are for last webinar was people from IIT Delhi, IIT Mumbai. So even
Mhm.
most of the organization is having emphasis on the agri setup also. And
Right.
there are a lot many cells that is been come up. I don't know whether in IIM Jammu you are having something on agriculture or rural sector. Any courses or
No, we don't have a course at present, but we do a lot of management development programs for Panchayati Raj institutions
okay.
of J&K. Like not only J&K, now around the country as well. So a lot of people from the Panchayati Raj institution, they come here and we do capacity building for them.
And what are the content like basically?
Mainly leadership.
Okay.
Leadership, talking to them about the FPOs, how can they take the FPOs forward, okay? What managerial skills they can learn, which they can take back and apply in the village. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm showing right now is the financing rural infrastructure funnel. Okay. So at the top of the funnel, we have the government. We expect the government to provide the maximum amount of finance for infrastructure in the rural areas. Then comes the private players. If the private players can earn profits, okay, not the CSR part, but the profit part. If they can run a rural infrastructure with profits, nothing better than that. Okay, then we can reduce the role of the government and the role of CSR as well. Okay, and the least that we expect from the corporate is the CSR. Okay, that's the plan for financing the rural infrastructure. Okay, and we do have some challenges for rural infrastructure, for building rural infrastructure as well. The first one is the land acquisition. We still face a lot of problems even after the amendment to the Land Acquisition Act. Okay, then again we have financing problems. We still face some of the financing problems. Like there's always a tussle between the central government and the state government about who will finance it. Okay, and how much percentage of it will be financed by the state and by the center. Okay, then we have always had a problem of delays in implementation. Okay, the roads are sanctioned. Okay, but there's always be a delay in implementation or building of the final road. Even the quality, sometimes the quality of the roads is questioned. Okay, we have seen, especially in this monsoon, in this year's monsoon, we have seen the real side of infrastructure. We have seen the quality of infrastructure that we have created, okay, that is not able to stand all the weather. Though we call them all weather roads, uh, they are not able to withstand this monsoon. Okay, not only in urban area, but even rural areas as well. People are not talking about rural areas, but the things are also not very good in rural areas as well. Okay, that's where maintenance issues come.
No,
Yes.
even today, there was a news that a businessman was to invest in a hotel in Himachal Pradesh, and
Mhm.
yesterday only in the floods, mostly part of that building
Hmm.
got washed away. So
Okay.
definitely he was thanking God that all the
He didn't invest.
investment and for the investors also, they had saved that money due to certain problems. Instead of August, they had postponed
Hmm.
it to September. And yesterday we have seen that.
Yeah. Okay. So even in maintenance issues, like I'll talk about PMGSY. So central government is responsible only for construction of new roads. Okay. But upgradation of the roads, which comes under PMGSY phase 2, it has to be done by the states. Because not many people know about this, but now states have to spend a lot from their own pocket for the upgradation and maintenance of roads. Central government is only responsible for the construction of new roads. Okay, so again, there is an issue of maintenance there. Then who will maintain it? Okay, right. So future outlook. What can we do in future? How can we improve the rural infrastructure? Like we have smart cities, even though smart city concept is still not very successful, but similarly we can focus on smart villages and rural industrial clusters. Okay. I mean, also this we also need to think about sustainability of these industrial clusters. It should not impact the rural environment. Okay. Then we come to the green infrastructure. This is very important. The solar, the EV charging infrastructure. We have talked about EV. We have talked a lot about EV charging infrastructure in the cities, but we are not talking about it in villages. Okay, because if we can develop EV charging infrastructure in villages, in rural areas, then it will reduce our dependence on the crude oil. Okay, right? Because a petrol pump cannot reach a village, but an EV charging station can easily. Okay, then we have Internet of Things, and then artificial intelligence for precision farming. Now, ChatGPT, if you look at ChatGPT, if you click a picture of your plant, if your plant has a disease, and you click a picture of the plant and then put it on ChatGPT, ChatGPT is now able to give you some of the suggestions. Okay, so that can be linked to the agriculture university as well. Okay, so IoT, AI, and agriculture universities together can help in precision farming. Okay, last but not the least, we should also focus on increasing the rural consumption and building the sustainable infrastructure. Okay, after the events of this monsoon, keeping the infrastructure sustainable is paramount. You can keep on building the infrastructure, you can keep on increasing the quantity of infrastructure, but the quality and sustainability of that infrastructure is also very important. Okay, right. Like a closing thought. Uh, well, this is a small code. Infrastructure in rural area is not a cost, but an investment that yields compounding returns for the nation. Okay, we asked one question at the start. Okay, and now this we are ending it with a sentence. It is not a cushion. Now we are saying that it is an investment with compounding return for the nation. Okay, right? We can use infrastructure and energy for agriculture to reach economic growth, not only for the rural area, but also for the nation itself. Okay, so I like to end at this place. I am happy to take the questions. This is a small thing which again this is made by AI. Okay,
Okay.
this image is made by AI. So
Now,
yeah, any
definitely,
questions?
most of the questions that has come in between, definitely you have
Hmm.
explained in detail. Although, if something from your research perspective, uh, mm, if you want to share some of your thoughts, which is again
Okay.
engaging for the chartered accountant to further go deep into that, because definitely our research is basically
Mhm.
a tool that if you have interest, then definitely you can dig deeper into that, and definitely we can create interest in that, and that again some of the areas, because everybody is not aware of all the areas that is having basically creating a bigger impact. So from your experience, do you suggest some those areas which is again very interesting and emerging from the rural perspective?
Yeah, so one of my research is on geographical indications. So in geographical indications, I have seen that the crops which have got geographical indication have resulted in increase in their exports. I hope everyone is aware about a geographical indication.
Yeah, yeah.
No, if not, I'll just give an example like Nagpur orange. Okay, so any orange, so not every orange can be termed as Nagpur orange. Only an orange which is grown in Nagpur area, it can be called a Nagpur orange, and it has a certificate attached to it. Okay, so that you know it is a label, it is a quality label. Okay, so geographical indication have become a development tool for improving rural economies across India now. Okay, we have had our first GI given to Darjeeling tea back in 2003, with 2002 or 2003. Since then, in agriculture itself, we have given around 200 GIs to various products. Okay, and this has helped those products become a champion in the world market itself, like Basmati. Okay, Basmati is the highest exported product in Indian agriculture. Okay, like or jasmine of Karnataka. It has become famous. Kurg orange, coffee from Karnataka. Okay, in Maharashtra we can say Alfonso mango. Okay. This is the exports have skyrocketed, okay, which is helping the farmers, but not the consumers in India, I'll say. Okay, because then the domestic supply decreases for Alfonso mangoes in India, and we get it at a very high price. Okay, but it is good for the farmers. Right. As far as infrastructure is concerned, I have studied the impact of rural roads on migration, which I have already discussed, and its impact on agriculture exports. Okay, at present, I am studying the delays in building the rural road infrastructure. Okay, how it is different for different kind of villages. Okay, my present research is on that.
Because that is again interesting, because delays create a cost overrun, and again there is a lot of problems, because if you foresee
Right.
something coming in 2 years, again it is taking 5 years to complete that. So
Exactly.
definitely it is a problematic scenario. So
Yeah.
definitely we'll be looking forward for something good
Sure.
research that you'll be coming about. So
Yeah.
thanks, Dr. Manu, for this session. And I think
Thanks a
the
lot.
participants must be aware of many of the areas, although chartered accountants are learned lot, so definitely
Yes.
they must be aware. But sometimes it happens that just that thought is not clicking to your mind, because
Happens.
we see that there are a lot of opportunities is there in India, be it urban or even now rural areas. And again, what you have told earlier, that migration, reverse migration has been going on. So definitely that is again a interesting trend, because city life
Right.
is not that rosy as it seems to be earlier. Now again, there are a lot of
Right.
problems associated with city life also. So definitely,
Exactly.
uh, thank you once again. So definitely we'll be interacting in future. And thank all the participants, the convener of the group, CA Pankaj Sah, and Deputy Convener, CA Hansrachu, for all this initiative. And definitely many more initiative will be doing for this group on development of rural economy. So thank you, participant, for attending this session. So thanks all.
Yeah, I'd like to also thank ICAI for inviting me for this talk, and I'm happy to connect with the institute anytime they want.
Yes, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
तो ऑप्शन उसको निशार को रिकॉर्ड